The small size is, to pull it with a Jeep is just what we need anyways.
They promised you the perfect RV, but now they're sitting there, untouched. Hundreds of models lined up on dealer lots across America, and you probably walk right past the warning signs. Which models are being quietly dumped with massive discounts? Which once popular names are now rusting at the back of the lot? And which forgotten rig could secretly be your best bargain? Stick with me, because this list might change how you shop forever. And trust me, the twist comes at the end. The #1 RV is something you'd never expect to see sitting unwanted. If you click away before then, you'll miss the biggest shock of all. Winnebago Mini Winnie. In the landscape of American recreational travel, very few names spark instant recognition the way the Winnebago brand does. And among its many offerings, the Mini Winnie stands out as one of the most enduring and familiar. For decades, this vehicle was considered the welcoming gateway into the world of motorhome ownership. It was marketed toward ordinary households who dreamed of crossing the nation without the overwhelming cost or size of a full Class A motorhome. Instead of being a massive bus-like machine, the Mini Winnie was a modest, compact Class C model, built on dependable van chassis foundations provided by manufacturers such as Ford and Chevrolet. These solid underpinnings made the Mini Winnie approachable, repairable, and at one time astonishingly popular. The historical roots of the Mini Winnie stretch back to the 1970s, when Winnebago realized many families longed for the freedom of the road, but lacked the funds for massive motorhomes. By placing a carefully crafted coach body on widely available van frames, the company created a smaller rig that could sleep a family, offer kitchens, bathrooms, and still fit in a driveway. Its cab-over-bunk, convertible dinette, propane stove, refrigerator, and wet bath offered independence. Yet today, caught between luxury Class A rigs and sleek camper vans, its simplicity leaves dealers slashing prices, struggling to move remaining inventory. From a historical perspective, however, the Mini Winnie still represents an extraordinary chapter in the democratization of travel. It proved that freedom on wheels was not restricted to the wealthy, but could be claimed by everyday households with steady incomes. Thousands of these rigs crisscrossed the country during summer breaks, carrying children to national parks, beaches, and mountain ranges. The fact that many continue to operate decades later speaks to the durability of their construction and the wisdom of their simple mechanical foundations. As we step away from the story of the Mini Winnie, a rig that balanced affordability and practicality, yet now struggles for attention, prepare yourself for something quite different. The next vehicle on our countdown is remembered less for mainstream success and more for its unusual shape and daring attempt to stand out from the crowd. Its legacy is quirky, its design unforgettable, and its story sets the stage for a very unexpected entry. Chevrolet G30 Champion Transvan. Among the many unusual motorhomes that rolled onto American highways during the free-spirited era of the 1970s, few created as much curiosity as the Chevrolet G30 Champion Transvan. This was not the sleek, aerodynamic shape that most families imagined when they pictured vacation travel. Instead, it looked unapologetically boxy, a squared-off capsule set on the reliable Chevrolet G30 van chassis. At first glance, it seemed almost too odd to succeed, yet hidden behind those sharp lines was a clever and resourceful design that attempted to blend practicality with the adventurous spirit of its age. For a brief time, the Transvan represented an unconventional answer to the growing demand for affordable, compact recreational vehicles. The Champion Company, long recognized for mobile homes and prefabricated housing, boldly entered the motorhome market by combining its expertise in compact living with the durable Chevrolet van platform. The resulting Transvan offered fold-down dinettes, propane stoves, compact refrigerators, and clever storage inside a box-shaped body that maximized headroom and space efficiency. Families described it as a rolling cabin more than a motorhome. Powered by Chevrolet's reliable V8 engines, parts were accessible nationwide, and maintenance was simple. Yet its unconventional, squared-off design failed to capture mainstream appeal, leaving dealers struggling to persuade customers to embrace its unusual, practical charm. Over time, production numbers dwindled, and the Transvan faded from showrooms, becoming something of a cult classic rather than a mainstream success. Today, surviving examples are celebrated by enthusiasts who admire their quirky style and their durable, no-nonsense build. Yet in dealer histories, the model often appears as a reminder of how risky it could be to stray too far from consumer expectations. As we shift gears from this square-shaped oddity, prepare prepare to meet another van-based workhorse that carried countless families across the United States of America. Unlike the Transvan, this next machine leaned heavily on strength, reputation, and sheer practicality rather than eccentric design choices, giving it a far different legacy in recreational travel. If you're enjoying uncovering these forgotten rigs, hit that like button and drop a comment sharing which one you'd actually trust for a long road trip. Your feedback helps shape the countdowns and keeps the conversation rolling. General Motors Corporation Vandura Camper Conversions. During the gritty and adventurous decades of the 1970s and the 1980s, one van quietly became the foundation for countless recreational vehicle dreams. That vehicle was the General Motors Corporation Vandura. It was not a glamorous Class A motorhome, and it was not a streamlined import from overseas. Instead, it was a sturdy, full-size van that builders and families transformed into rolling homes. The Vandura earned its place on this list because it embodied the working-class spirit of American travel. Affordable, dependable, and endlessly adaptable, it became the starting point for thousands of camper conversions, both from professional companies and from do-it-yourself owners who simply wanted a reliable platform on which to build their road adventures. The Vandura, built on the same platform as the Chevrolet G-Series vans, earned a reputation for solid engineering and dependable performance. With robust V8 engines providing torque for heavy camper bodies, it tackled mountain passes and long interstates with ease. Its squared body gave builders freedom to add kitchens, refrigerators, couches, dinettes, and even wet baths, while private owners customized theirs for vacations or hunting trips. Straightforward suspension and drivetrain design allowed backyard mechanics to keep them running, and widely shared parts made maintenance affordable. This blend of simplicity and practicality cemented the Vandura as a durable classic. Despite these strengths, the Vandura never carried the prestige of higher-end recreational vehicles. Dealers often found that customers were drawn toward larger, flashier rigs with more obvious luxuries. The Vandura, in comparison, seemed too plain, too boxy, and too modest for buyers chasing status. As a result, many conversion vans lingered on lots longer than expected, forcing discounts and creating a legacy of being overlooked. Yet in hindsight, the Vandura conversions have gained a nostalgic charm. They remind us of a time when travel was less about touchscreen panels and more about simple reliability. Enthusiasts still hunt down surviving examples, restoring them as both time capsules and practical rigs for budget-friendly journeys. The endurance of these vehicles proves that strength and simplicity never truly fade away. With the Vandura's tale of rugged practicality now behind us, let us journey into the story of a manufacturer best remembered for its lightweight travel trailers. A company that dared to step into the motorhome market and discovered how difficult it was to win buyers in an already crowded field. Shasta Motorhome. When many Americans hear the name Shasta, they instantly think of the lightweight travel trailers with distinctive wings that dotted highways and campgrounds during the mid-20th century. Yet there was a moment in the 1970s when Shasta decided that it was not enough to remain a trailer manufacturer. The company boldly ventured into the motorhome market, creating compact Class C rigs that carried the Shasta badge and promised affordability combined with durability. While these motorhomes never reached the same legendary status as the winged trailers, they carved out an important place in recreational vehicle history, particularly for families who wanted to own a motorized unit without paying the higher prices demanded by competitors. Shasta motorhomes were built on durable domestic van and truck chassis from Dodge, Ford, or Chevrolet, ensuring reliability through trusted V8 engines capable of powering over highways and mountain grades. Inside, they featured essentials like propane stoves, refrigerators, sinks, and compact bathrooms, with dinette sets and fold-out couches, providing enough beds for 4 or even 5 travelers. Their true strength lay in lightweight construction and efficient design, drawn from Shasta's trailer expertise. Clever storage filled every corner, making interiors practical yet inviting. Though less flashy than competitors, families remembered Shasta motorhomes as warm, functional, and surprisingly comfortable for long journeys. Still, despite these virtues, Shasta motorhomes struggled in showrooms. Dealers frequently faced challenges moving units because buyers gravitated toward better-known motorhome names such as Winnebago or Fleetwood. The Shasta name was synonymous with trailers, not motorized rigs, and the market never fully embraced the crossover. As a result, many of these motorhomes were discounted heavily, becoming an example of how brand reputation in one product category does not always transfer to another. Decades later, collectors and enthusiasts look back on Shasta motorhomes with affection. Survivors from the 1970s are still spotted at rallies and vintage gatherings, often restored to their original charm. These rigs demonstrate how affordable engineering and accessible maintenance can extend the life of a vehicle far beyond its expected service years. While they were once considered unwanted inventory, today they stand as charming reminders of a time when ordinary families could step into the motorhome lifestyle without overspending. With the Shasta story in mind, prepare to turn the page to another chapter, one that highlights a model from a manufacturer that once dominated the Class C segment. This next motorhome became so common across American campgrounds that oversupply, rather than obscurity, eventually contributed to its downfall. Fleetwood Tioga. There was a period in American recreational vehicle history when one name seemed to appear in every campground, at every roadside rest area, and across nearly every glossy brochure. That name was Fleetwood Tioga. Introduced during the late 1970s and reaching its peak popularity throughout the 1980s and 1990s, the Tioga became one of the most visible and widely owned Class C motorhomes in the United States of America. Families from coast to coast viewed it as the practical choice, the dependable rig that promised comfort on the road without forcing them to surrender the financial security of their household budget. The Tioga was not flashy, nor was it overly experimental. Instead, it thrived by offering solid reliability, sensible layouts, and wide availability. The Tioga, built primarily on the Ford Econoline chassis, with some Chevrolet versions, offered buyers dependable V8 engines, smooth automatic transmissions, and sturdy suspension suited for long interstate travel. Fleetwood's choice of these familiar platforms meant parts were widely available, and most mechanics could handle repairs, giving families peace of mind. Inside, the Tioga delivered practicality, overhead cab bunks, convertible dinettes, and compact kitchens with propane stoves, sinks, and refrigerators. Small bathrooms ensured independence, while wood cabinetry, cushioned seating, and large windows created inviting interiors. Families of 4 or 5 could enjoy affordable, comfortable journeys without sacrificing reliability. Despite these advantages, the very ubiquity of the Fleetwood Tioga eventually became its downfall. Dealers across America ordered large numbers, confident that the model would continue selling endlessly. However, oversupply combined with shifting consumer tastes created a challenge. Buyers began chasing either luxurious Class A rigs or smaller, more modern camper vans, leaving the Tioga caught in an awkward middle ground. By the late 1990s, many dealers found themselves forced to discount Tioga units dramatically, sometimes selling at near cost simply to clear space for newer models. Today, surviving examples of the Tioga remain on the road, and many continue to provide reliable service thanks to their simple mechanical foundations. Yet within the history of recreational vehicle sales, the Tioga is remembered not only for its popularity, but also for how quickly market trends can turn success into surplus. Leaving behind the story of this once dominant family hauler, we now move toward another motorhome built on a rugged Dodge platform. This next entry highlights how durability and strength were not always enough to maintain long-term desirability in the shifting world of recreational travel. We're heading into the final stretch, and you don't want to miss the biggest reveal. Make sure to subscribe right now so you're first in line for every hidden story about these overlooked, underrated recreational vehicles. Dodge Sportsman Class C. Across countless highways and small-town backroads of America, one vehicle platform became a familiar foundation for motorhomes that offered strength, reliability, and affordability. That platform was the Dodge Sportsman, and throughout the 1970s and the 1980s, it served as the backbone for numerous Class C recreational vehicles. Unlike some luxury rigs that catered to high-end buyers, the Dodge Sportsman-based motorhomes were designed for ordinary households who wanted to enjoy the freedom of travel without crushing their bank accounts. These rigs became beloved because they struck a balance between modest cost and rugged dependability. The Dodge Sportsman van chassis gave coach builders a sturdy frame, strong V8 engines, and easy-to-service design. Many models carried Chrysler small block or big block engines, praised for durability and simple upkeep. With Dodge's vast dealer network, parts were easy to find, and even roadside mechanics could manage repairs, making the Sportsman a reliable choice for families traveling coast to coast or visiting state parks. Interiors varied, but commonly included convertible dinettes, overhead bunks, propane kitchens, and compact wet baths with combined toilets and showers. Though lacking luxury, clever storage and functional layouts made these motorhomes practical and dependable companions. Despite their strengths, Dodge Sportsman motorhomes began to lose traction in the market as consumer tastes evolved. By the late 1980s, Dodge gradually withdrew from producing van platforms that could support Class C builds, leaving Ford and Chevrolet to dominate the segment. Dealers struggled to move remaining stock, often discounting units heavily to entice hesitant buyers. What was once considered the reliable workhorse of the highway slowly transformed into a symbol of outdated design, passed over for sleeker or more modern rigs. Nevertheless, many examples of the Dodge Sportsman Class C still survive today, a testament to the solid engineering and no-nonsense approach of their era. For collectors and practical travelers alike, these rigs remain symbols of an age when recreational vehicles were built to last through decades of use. Now, as we conclude the story of the Dodge Sportsman, it is time to shift toward the #1 position on our countdown. The final entry is a motorhome whose boxy design, bold graphics, and unforgettable presence made it an icon of American highways. Yet in today's dealer lots, it often struggles to find the appreciation it once commanded. Winnebago Brave. Few silhouettes in the history of American recreational travel are as instantly recognizable as the bold, box-shaped Winnebago Brave. Rolling onto highways in the late 1960s and dominating the open roads of the 1970s, the Brave became a cultural icon, a moving emblem of middle-class freedom. With its squared-off body, horizontal side stripes, and the distinctive Flying W logo emblazoned on its flanks, the Brave captured imaginations and gave countless households the confidence that adventure was not reserved for the wealthy few. At its height, the Winnebago Brave symbolized possibility. But in today's world of sleek luxury coaches and high-tech camper vans, it often sits ignored on dealer lots, remembered more for nostalgia than for active desirability. Built on sturdy Dodge truck chassis, the Brave featured dependable V8 engines and automatic transmissions capable of conquering mountains, deserts, and endless interstates. Mechanics appreciated its simple, widely available components, meaning repairs rarely required specialists, giving families confidence on long trips. Durability defined its reputation more than flashy styling. Inside, the Brave excelled in practical design, with fold-down dinette booths, overhead bunks for children, and compact kitchens for home-cooked meals. Small yet functional bathrooms and expansive windows added independence and light, while thoughtful layouts balanced comfort and utility, ensuring the Brave worked seamlessly as both transportation and reliable home. However, as the decades passed, the very qualities that once made the Brave appealing began to feel dated. Consumers grew hungry for aerodynamic bodies, digital features, and modern comforts. Dealers found it increasingly difficult to sell boxy models, and production of the Brave eventually ceased as Winnebago moved on to new designs. In the modern era, many surviving Braves require restoration, and although enthusiasts celebrate their nostalgic charm, mainstream buyers often overlook them. Thus, a vehicle once celebrated as a national symbol of adventure is now left behind, discounted heavily, or abandoned to auctions. Even so, the legacy of the Winnebago Brave endures. Restorers proudly bring these rigs back to life, seeing in them not only reliable engineering, but also the spirit of an age when traveling America's highways was an affordable dream. The Brave stands as a reminder that freedom on wheels does not require perfection. It requires a strong frame, an honest design, and the courage to hit the road. As our countdown comes to a close with the story of the Brave, one truth remains clear. Whether overlooked, underappreciated, or forgotten, these vehicles represent more than steel and fiberglass. They embody decades of ambition, resilience, and the unshakable desire to chase horizons. That wraps up our countdown of the rigs dealers can't give away, yet each one still carries a story worth remembering. Some may look outdated, others forgotten, but together they prove the road is never about flash. It's about freedom. If you made it this far, you clearly share that passion. So keep exploring, keep questioning, and never settle for the glossy brochure version of adventure. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and let the journey lead you forward.